Hello everyone and welcome back to Through the Dragon Glass. Before we get started, I want everyone to hit that thumbs up, notification bell, subscribe button, tell a friend about me, and make sure you leave a comment. Leaving the comment is very important as it helps with the algorithm. Alright, we are on chapter 13 of The Secrets of the Federal Reserve by Eustace Mullins. This is the 1930s part 2. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to go into another Eustace Mullins book, I think. I'm going to do it on YouTube and Rumble. Now, I want to do one on Disney, but I don't think I can do it on on YouTube. They might give me a copyright strike or anything like that, or not necessarily copyright strike, but misinformation, disinformation, whatever. There are other people who've talked. If I talk about the Illuminati, I'm going to get in trouble, so I'm going to go over to Rumble and kind of do both. If you want to hear interviews, they're over at Rumble, so there's a lot more content at Rumble than there is actually on YouTube, and there's a link in the description below where you can go into my Rumble account. Alright, well, let's get started. The majority of the nation didn't know the Federal Reserve banks were created for profit, as it was a well-kept secret. They campaigned on the grounds that the Federal Reserve would stabilize U.S. currency, which it did not. 95% of the Federal Reserve profit came from the credit, which was odd because they didn't produce a single thing. The Federal Reserve creates money for itself, which doesn't go into circulation, but is used for profit. Now that the government's credit was handed over to private banks, it gave the Federal Reserve the ability to create endless supplies of money.
I'm Richie Rich, and welcome to my crib!
The Federal Reserve can extinguish reserves by selling bonds on the open market. They gain money, but they lose the credit the government owes them. This will wipe out a basis for money and credit, which usually favors bankers. This gives the Federal Reserve complete control over the financial system because the Federal Reserve has all the money and is the only institution that can print the money.
I got so much money, I even got my dog gold-plated. He wasn't dead, I just wanted him gold-plated. And I guess what I want my dog gold-plated. Gold-plated dog!
The money panic of 1873, 1893, 1920, and 1929 were caused by sucking up credit that is being circulated. This means there is no money for food, rent, and the majority of U.S. citizens lost their job. The Federal Reserve would only have a small amount of money if there was no debt. Money should have been created through the production of goods and services, not by the banks. For this reason, the Federal Reserve Board would never support legislation that would stabilize our monetary system.
Check it out, I don't make money, I pose for money.
Though many people think the Federal Reserve is complex, it is really simple. The Federal Reserve creates money by purchasing securities with money they printed that is not backed up by gold. The money then goes to commercial banks and then back into the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve now owes securities that accumulate debt paid by the money not backed up by gold. Selling the bonds is another way the Federal Reserve creates money, but like I said before, it extinguishes credit reserves.
I used to be all about style, but then I realized I should get a hybrid. Half Bentley, half monster truck, that is. Blam!
Velocity of circulation is the speed money changes hands. If people hold on to their gold, there will be slow velocity of circulation, which we see during hard times. There will be a rapid velocity of circulation, typically during good times. This is a ridiculous amount of power, as the Federal Reserve could increase money supply to re-elect a president or decrease it if they didn't want the current president to be re-elected. All open market transactions are conducted by one account held by the New York Federal Reserve. Many congressmen tried to get rid of the Federal Reserve and to have the government create, issue, and circulate currency. Sadly, the Federal Reserve has bought so many congressmen that it is a joke to think our government will ever issue its own currency. Alright guys, I want to thank everyone for listening. The next chapter is going to be short, the Congressional Expo. It's going to be super short. And then we're going to go on, like I said, to another Eustace Mullins book. I'm going to figure out which one. And then we are also going to do the Illuminati Disney one, which I'm pretty pumped about that one. Alright guys, see you next time.